Hi, everybody. It's Dr. B from Helping Hands Pet Hospice. Thanks for your patience. We had some technical difficulties. And by technical, I mean, I totally forgot that it was getting close to 7 o'clock and Cheyenne had to come grab me out of my chair so I could rush in here and get ready for this. So the hurricane today had me a little bit off. I hope you guys are all okay from the hurricane. We had lots of branches down and Pirate's cat Batat is sopping wet, so he's still living in the bathroom until I can get that fixed up probably tomorrow. But I hope everybody's okay. So if you're around and you want to let us know how you did in the storm and how your pets are doing, we would love to hear that in the comments. Otherwise, we're going to do a quick live here about pets in the holidays because I've been getting lots of questions about that. And so we're gonna talk about that a little bit. And you all are welcome to do questions in the comments, and then Cheyenne will pop them up for me if you have anything specific that you want to discuss. But I had some questions that people sent in, so we're gonna talk about those while we wait to hear from you. If anybody's even on here, because after the hurricane, I think everybody's just tired and ready to go back to bed. Okay, Cheyenne, let's have the first question, please. Okay. Sorry about that. Also don't have my phone on mute. I'm just a mess today. All right. So the first question is, why are the holidays hard on pets? People hear me say this all the time. Our busiest season in our practice is during the holidays, typically from about Halloween until sometime in January or February. We're usually incredibly busy. And that's for a number of reasons. So the holidays are really hard on pets because pets are not the biggest fans of change, especially our kitties. Kitties don't like anything to change ever. If you think about it, cats can, you can move the furniture and cats will start, urinating blood. So it's kind of a big deal that that they don't like things to be changed around. And there are exceptions to that. Sorry, Frida is over here rooting around in my stuff and I'm just trying to make sure she can't get into anything that doesn't belong to her. So anyway, change is the biggest thing. And we think about it, people are stressed by the holidays, even people who really like the holidays, like me. I look forward to the holidays every year, but somehow I always manage to stress myself out anyway, because there's a lot of cooking, there's a lot of company, there's just a lot going on, the decorating and the undecorating and then the redecorating. So all of that is really hard on pets. That's changes in schedule. People are home when they're not supposed to be. People are gone when they're not supposed to be. There's boxes coming down from the attic to decorate, or, in the case of Halloween, there's large, scary things everywhere that our pets are supposed to just go, oh yeah, it's Halloween, nothing to worry about. But to them, some people really get into it and there's actually like weird people standing in their windows and stuff. And that can make pets super stressed. So, all of those things, all of those changes are hard on pets. And then we're stressed and they read that stress from us. And maybe we don't have as much time to spend with them. Maybe if the holidays are extra hard on us, we are spending extra time with them, but maybe we're unhappy and they're trying to figure that out and navigate that. So I think the changes, the different smells, all the different people, all of that comes together and causes problems during the holidays. The other thing that can happen is that in most places, it's usually chilly or downright cold during the holidays. And cold weather can aggravate arthritis. Some diseases actually get better when it's cooler out. Breathing diseases in particular, it can be easier on pets with breathing problems when it's cold. But a lot of pets have trouble with the cold weather. So those things kind of all come together and create hazards. And then on top of that, we have foods and lots of people over and sometimes kids that they're not used to. So they might have access to foods that they wouldn't normally eat, which can cause problems for them as well. The other thing is that money tends to be a little tight during the holidays for a lot of us. And so a pet who's not feeling so hot might not get to the vet as quickly or have as much done as they would other times of the year because of financial constraints, which, that happens to all of us. But those are the things that make the holidays really hard on pets. Okay, Cheyenne, next question, please. Aha. My vet said pets are often euthanized around the holidays. Why? So I have an article on this on our blog, and it's called "'Tis the Season for Euthanasia," I think. And that's something that I wrote about what we call our euthanasia season, which is during the holidays, toward the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. And the reasons are the same, extra stress, sometimes a lack of money. A lot of times the pets are ill and the holidays just kind of make them go downhill because there's just too much stress. Kitties, especially when they're teetering on the edge, big changes can make them go downhill, and have them succumb to their disease. And that's something that a lot of people feel really guilty about. And we can't stop living our lives entirely because our pets are ill. That the time is going to come one way or another. And so, if you have things going on with the holidays, canceling everything because your pet is ill isn't necessarily going to make them better. But you may want to find, if they're a pet that doesn't like a lot of people and you're having a group over, maybe give them a safe place to hide where they don't have to be bothered by children or other pets who come with your guests and things like that. So those are things that, that you can think about when the holidays come. Also, I think a lot of people who are expecting guests for the holidays suddenly look at their pet and realize how bad they look. Or maybe one of your children comes home from college and says, "Mom, what's wrong with Max? He looks terrible." And you don't notice because you see him every single day, but your child who's been gone to college for several months comes home and sees big changes. And so I think a lot of times people panic because, they're getting ready to have all these people over and they suddenly realize their pet is ill and doesn't look well. And then there's a lot of, can you get in at the vet because, the vets are so busy? Do you have to go to the ER? Is that something that you can afford or something that you're going to be able to handle with your pet? So a lot of times decisions are made because we just didn't realize how bad pets were getting. And things have been super, super stressful. So those are a lot of the reasons. Also, a lot of people wait for children to come home from college or for relatives to come and visit before they say goodbye to their pets. So a lot of times they'll do hospice care to get them into the holiday season. And then once everyone has had a chance to see them, then they'll schedule to have them pass peacefully. And we do that. We go into the home and help them pass peacefully at home so they don't have to take that last car ride, so they don't have to be in the vet's office, especially if they're a pet that's more anxious at the vet's office. So those are some things that we do to try to make this a little bit easier because the holidays it's so hard saying goodbye, especially at the holidays. And our pets, just the holidays are hard on them, just like they're hard on us. So I think that's kind of also a reason to just breathe a little bit during the holidays and try to spend some good quality time with your pets quietly, even if it's just a few minutes. For one, that's good for you and your stress, but it's also good for them and to help ease their stress and make them feel more secure. So holidays and pets and euthanasia all go together, unfortunately. And so we're here if you need us, if you have questions about how to help your pets through the holidays or any other time of the year. We're happy to help and talk you through. We do this a lot, and we see this a lot. I think too, again, with guests coming over or trips to be planned. And I know we have another question about this, but I'll get to that in a minute. I think a lot of people just suddenly something that they've been putting off, or maybe their pet's been giving them some subtle signs that they've just kind of pushed to the side and said, if something big happens, we'll deal with it. But for now, we're just going to, let them coast and see how they do. And then I think that it becomes an emergency at that point, and they have to decide whether to do a whole bunch of diagnostics and try to figure out what's wrong with their pet and try to treat their pet, or is it time to say goodbye? And I think a lot of people are faced with that dilemma during the holidays. If a pet goes downhill due to stress, or if they just suddenly realize that their pet's not doing well, and then they have to figure out what they're going to do about that. Okay, next slide, please, or next question. My pet is elderly and I'm about to leave on vacation. What should I do? So I have this conversation with people all the time. This is a really, really hard situation to be in. So when you have and it's any pet, I mean, I know I leave the quality control weaners alone. They have a babysitter that I think they actually love more than me. They love going to spend time with their Auntie Ren, and they don't really care that they're leaving us. But Frida was very ill over the summer. And so when I was getting ready to leave on my fall trip, I was very worried about leaving her. and Ren is amazing and takes great care of them, but I was worried about saddling her with that. And so we get that with clients that they have a pet who's on a lot of medications or isn't super stable or is going through a rough patch with whatever disease they have, and then they have to leave. And we all know that pets get stressed when we go on vacation. Although my dogs seem to get less stressed with with their pet sitter than with me. Go figure. So, but for most pets being left, even if it's in their house, even if you have somebody come to stay with them, it's still a big change. So I get a lot of people who, when faced with that dilemma, the way that they put it to themselves and to me is, I don't want to euthanize them for my own convenience because I'm going on vacation. And that's not the case. I mean, this isn't a perfectly healthy pet that we're talking about that you're going to say goodbye to because you don't want to have to worry about them on vacation. This is a pet that I would be worried about their ability to get through a vacation without their owners if they're in that bad of shape. And a lot of times when people leave their pets, they do go downhill and they do need to pass away during the vacation. So depending on how critical they are, because some of these pets are in really, really bad shape, and that always worries me. I do often recommend that we say goodbye before you leave, just so that we don't have to put them through that stress and the potential that that the pet sitter would have to help them say goodbye, and that they would have to be without you when you say goodbye. We do have people that go, and then if we have to say goodbye, we will do like a FaceTime or a Skype and have the owners be there, virtually rather than in person. But we really prefer not to do that. Certainly, I think if you're going to go on vacation and you have an elderly pet, before you leave would be an excellent time, and not like the day before you leave, like, a week or two before you leave. Go see your vet, make sure that everything is stable, make sure there's nothing that needs to change. And then that will give your pet the best chance of doing well when you leave. But whatever you decide, just know that you can only do what you can do. And if you have to leave them to go on vacation and you just don't feel they're ready to say goodbye and something happens while you're gone, you did the best you could. And that's what's the most important thing. We all regret when we can't be there for our pets. I've had pets that I've had to had to have euthanized when I was out of town or when I couldn't be there. And so that's something that, you have to consider in your decision is, what is your line in the sand? Is it more important that you get as much life out of them as you can? Is it more important that you be there when you say goodbye? Is it more important that you give them a chance while you go away so that it eases your conscience? And there's no wrong answer there. If you're considering euthanasia for your pet, you're in the window, like between too early and too late. And that window can be very, very long. It can be anywhere from, months to years sometimes, where, pets will have a poor quality of life or at least a compromised quality of life. And then, you have to decide do we try to get them through the vacation, or do we say goodbye ahead of time, knowing that we're not depriving them of anything humongous that they're going to be so excited about that they wouldn't want to go. Most of the time, the pets that we're agonizing over when we go on vacation are more than ready to say goodbye. And they've just had enough. And that's different than if you have a pet and you just worry about leaving on vacation because they're older. Age isn't a disease. If they don't have something serious going on, then yes, you take a small chance that something will happen, but odds are everything will be fine. One of the things that I do want to mention about this is that if you decide to try to get them through, again, go to the vet, make sure that they have any pain medicine that they need, and that you have time. You'll have a week or two to put them on that pain medicine and make sure they don't have any reactions to it. Make sure that it's actually helping their pain, just making sure that everything is as stable as it can possibly be. And then we want to make sure that our wishes are known, especially if you're going to be on a cruise, if you're going to be on long flights where no one will be able to get hold of you. We have people all the time who call us, and we actually have them sign the euthanasia consent form ahead of time and leave it with their pet sitter. And then we have their pet sitter also sign that they're responsible for the pet and that they're agreeing to have this done. But have your wishes written down. Make sure that you talk with your pet sitter. Yes, you can go to the ER and have some supportive care done. No, we are not authorizing any kind of emergency surgery at all. These are the things that you need to think about before you leave, especially if people might not be able to get in touch with you. So if you have questions about this, please give us a call. We do virtual quality of life consultations. So if you're preparing for a vacation or, for the holidays and you want to know what your best bet is, you can spend an hour with me virtually and I can look at your pet. I can't diagnose or prescribe anything, but I can talk to you about general quality of life. We can discuss the medications that they're on, and we can go over everything. And that way, again, if you want to sign paperwork ahead of time so that we can make sure that everything is where your pet sitter needs it to be, but make sure that they understand what they're allowed to do and what they're not. When I last left for vacation in September, Frida wasn't doing well. And she's not old, but she's older, and she has been having some really severe problems. And so, I gave Ren, my pet sitter, permission to euthanize her if she couldn't reach me, because I was going to be in a national park where there wasn't cell service for at least, 6 to 8 hours a day. So I wanted to make sure that she wasn't put in the position where she had to make the final decision and didn't know, how I would react to that. So always make sure that your pet sitter has, something in writing. Let your vet know, so that you can say, hey, I authorize treatment, here's my credit card, have it just in case. Let your vet know what your wishes are in case you can't be reached. So that's my main concern with leaving on vacation, is making sure your pet has everything they need to be comfortable, and that your pet sitter is empowered to do whatever they need to do to take care of your pet in an emergency. Oh, hi, Carol. Yes, I'm glad we're back too. It feels like forever. I can't remember the last time I did this, but it's been way too long. So hello to you and all the kitty cats. I'm glad to see you here. All right. So next question, Cheyenne. I'm trying to get my sick pet through Christmas. What should I do? So this is super common. People don't want to have to say goodbye during the holidays. And often it's, I want to get my sick pet through New Year's and we'll deal with it in the new year. My recommendation would be to get them to the vet as quickly as possible if you even suspect that something is wrong, and start getting it addressed, because the sooner we address things, the easier it is to treat if it's treatable. The longer we wait, the more chance that things are going wrong. If you're like, every time I let her out to go to the bathroom, she squats like 4 times when she has to pee. That's a warning sign of a potential, that can be a UTI, that can be all kinds of things that get to the vet. Because what's going to happen is on Christmas Day, when you have all these people over at your house, the dog is going to, pee blood on your white carpet, and you're going to go, oh no, it was a UTI. And then you're going to be stuck. The emergency clinics are generally open on the actual holidays, but don't let things wait, because they inevitably will have a problem on the holiday. We are closed on, we're going to be closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. We're also going to be closed the long weekend of Thanksgiving, unless something changes for me, since I work the weekends. So I'm going to try to take that time off. But if we decide to open, we'll post it on our Facebook page to make sure that you know. Okay, so getting them through Christmas or the holidays, whatever you're trying to get them through, getting them through your vacation, it all stands. It's all the same advice. Get them to the vet early. Get their treatments on board early. If you notice that maybe they don't feel so well on a medication, talk to your vet about that right away. Don't let it ride until they're really sick. So let's say, for instance, you put your pet on an anti-inflammatory for pain, for arthritis, and they start getting just a little bit of soft stool, and you're like, they don't usually have soft stool. That's something to call the vet about. Don't wait until it's horrible diarrhea and they're vomiting and they're not eating, and then it's a big emergency. Catch things early. Some medications, such as gabapentin, will cause sedation. That actually isn't an emergency. It's a little scary looking, because your pet might be staggering around a little bit, or be extra tired, or just not seem like themselves. And usually the good news is with gabapentin, that generally goes away. But if it's bothersome, definitely let your vet know. I would prefer that they be a little groggy and less painful than the other way around. but everybody has their tolerance, and we certainly don't want them, diving nose first into the water dish or the swimming pool or down the stairs. So if you have something, side effects going on, you want to let your vet know as quickly as possible. So we just want to make sure we're addressing any issues. If every time people come over, your cat gets super stressed out and starts urinating outside the box, and or starts vomiting, maybe talk to your vet. Like, is there anything that we can do preventatively? Could we do a little bit of sedation to try to help them be more comfortable? Could we put them on some nausea medication just to help keep their stomach settled? Can we get them away from all of the guests and the noise and the craziness? Can we put them somewhere where they can relax, and be away? Maybe put some music on, so any loud voices or the doorbell ringing constantly or anything like that can be reduced. Medication is a wonderful thing for pets who are stressed by company, who are stressed by big changes. There is nothing wrong with giving them, having your vet prescribe a little something to take the edge off so that they can rest during the festivities. If everybody's not having fun, it's not really a party. So we want to make sure that we're not just having a good time, that our pets are too. Another thing to mention about the holidays, again, lots of people don't enjoy the holidays, and a lot of that reason is their families. So if you have family that is going to be fighting, if we're going to have an airing of the grievances at the Thanksgiving table, maybe we need to rethink things, or go to someone else's house, or have your pet stay with a friend, or have them stay out of the room. But keep in mind, your pet's going to feel really protective of you. So you want to make sure that you're not stressing them because you're busy dealing with this relative that you can't stand and who can't stand you. Make sure that you let them know that everything is okay, and that you give them a little space if they need it. I'm going to stop and look at this. Oh, hi, Natalie. Natalie is one of our client care coordinators, and she's here tonight. And Mark says, "Oh, wow." I'm not sure about what, but I hope that's a good "oh, wow." Let's see. Oh, thank you, Carol, for telling Donna about us. We have people text when in the driveway, "Don't ring the bell ever, please." Yes, if your pets go crazy with the doorbell, maybe just tell them, text when they arrive. We actually have a lot of clients do that for us when we come to the house for euthanasia or for hospice appointments. They'll tell us, please just let us know when you're in the driveway and we'll come get you, so that there's not a big hullabaloo at the door. So yes, those are some things that can kind of help get a pet through a holiday. But if your pet is really bad off, I see it more often than not when we try to limp them through the holiday. Like, if the holiday is on Saturday and it's Wednesday and they're doing really badly, more often than not, you are going to reach your point of lack of tolerance for your pet's pain and suffering on the holiday, and you're going to end up in the ER. It happens all the time. So sometimes it's better to say goodbye, and not have that worry over the holiday. And again, I'm talking about really sick pets who, in a lot of cases needed to be done with this life weeks ago. And we're just trying to get them through. And I understand it. Believe me, I've had the same thought myself. I actually made the decision for one of my pets on Christmas Day years ago. And I looked back and I was like, man, we should have done this 2 or 3 weeks before the holiday. And I was just, I didn't want to have that in my mind. And I wanted to try to enjoy the holiday. And truth be told, if you have a sick pet, you're not enjoying the holiday because you're worrying about them. So again, you don't have to make that decision alone. You don't have to struggle with that by yourself. We are here for you. Your vet is somebody you can talk to if you have friends and family, and be prepared. Like, your friends and family aren't as close to your pet in most cases, and they are a little more objective than you, and they don't see them every day in a lot of cases. So if you have somebody come over and they're like, "Oh, your pet looks really bad," don't take it personally. Listen, because that's somebody who's concerned about your pet and wants to help. So make sure that you're checking about that, and that you're not trying to limp them through when they're already in really bad shape, because they often will not get there, and things only get more stressful as we approach each holiday. So especially if we're having lots of guests. So keep that in mind. Oh, hi, Deborah. Lyle is watching and thinking, wasn't Dr. B just here? Yes, I was just there. And I hope you're being a good boy and eating and behaving yourself and not keeping your mother up all night. So Deborah, you're going to have to report back since he can't type and tell me how he's doing. Lyle is my longest standing hospice patient. I think we're on like 3 years now. And he's a sassy pants, and he watches me. She's actually sent me a picture one time of him watching me on Facebook Live, which I think was because he was trying to figure out where I was in the house so he could get away from me. And Susan says, hi, Deb and Lyle. Oh, it's like the whole family's here. So anyway, that's my advice about getting them through the holiday. Think really hard about that. You can also go to our quality of life page and take our quality of life quiz. You can submit that, or you can just go through it and not submit it. And, sometimes just having that visual of all the symptoms that your pet has. So we don't do any kind of like numeric scale where you add up the numbers to see how bad off your pet is. It's just like, is your pet in pain? And these are all the signs that you might see if your pet is in pain. Is your pet having trouble breathing? These are all the signs you might see. So if you're checking a lot of boxes on that quality of life scale, then you really need to think about either getting them some palliative care so they can be more comfortable, or saying goodbye. And we can certainly help you with that decision. Again, the virtual quality of life consult has been hugely helpful for people, just to give them things to think about. And then I can also see the pet in most cases. Some people just do a phone consult because they don't like all this virtual, Zoom stuff. Actually, we do Google Meet, but they don't like the face-to-face video. But the video is really helpful to me because I can look at their pet. And for instance, I had twice in one day that I did consults, and both pets were having really, really hard times breathing, which to a trained eye, it was easy to see, but clients don't always notice that. And I told both of them, I was like, this needs to be taken care of today, because they're really, really uncomfortable. And we were actually able to go out and help them say goodbye to their pets on that day. That doesn't always happen, but it just gives me a little bit of an idea, or I can watch them walk and say, okay, well, he's definitely got some arthritis and you need to get it checked out. But, we don't, it's not a big emergency. So it just helps kind of to have a little assistance, and, not schedule a euthanasia appointment and then go, okay, well, you know what, we're really not ready. So sometimes it just helps set people's mind at ease. And I review all of the vet records that you send. We do a quality of life quiz and a registration form. And so I have all kinds of information about your pet, and I can talk you through what kind of things to be looking for, what kind of things in the household might be making your pet more uncomfortable or less uncomfortable. And we just kind of talk to each other for about an hour, and then you can decide whether it's time to say goodbye, or whether you want a hospice and palliative care consult, or whether you want to go back to your vet with what we've talked about and see if you can get treatment. So that is there for you if you need that assistance. Okay, is that our last question, Cheyenne, or do we have more? I'm going to go over to Archie. She hasn't said anything in the chat. Oh, now she's saying something in the chat. Hold on. None. Okay, so we're done with those questions. Does anybody, here, Carol says, you and I sent my girl Maggie home in 2016 during the Thanksgiving holidays, and it was so painful. Oh, that's so sweet. Yes, I remember that. That was right. I think I had only been open for about a year. And I remember I was sitting in my chair watching TV. It was late, and you happened to text or call, and I got back with you, and I went over that same night, and we said goodbye. And so that doesn't always happen, especially now we're a lot busier than we used to be, but definitely pets just know. And when it's the holidays and we're trying so hard to get through them and then make a decision with our head clear, they often make the choice for us. So, but I'm glad that we met and got together. We've been chatting with each other ever since, and I've seen lots of her babies. So we've gotten to be very bonded over the years, which is just terrific. Does anybody else have questions about anything? Quality of life, getting pets through the holidays, any curiosities about senior pets? I don't want to keep you here any later than we have to, but I do want to answer any questions that you might have. And I'm not seeing anything pop up. It was so good to see you guys. Thanks for coming back out. I know it's been forever since I've done this. We are running across the bottom of the screen our phone number. and it's 727-210-5517. You can call or text that number, or you can email us at info@hhphospice.com. We have someone answering phones and emails 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And I do check messages sometimes in the evenings if I have time and the ability. I'll kind of look things over. So do let us know if we can help. Again, sooner rather than later during the holidays. Again, this is our busy season. So, we want to be able to help as many people as possible. We do serve Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, and Manatee counties. And so we have about a 70-mile radius. So we're limited into how many patients we can see in a day. But we do try to get you in as quick as we can. And if we can't, we try to refer you to someone else who can. But give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email with any questions that you have. You don't have to go through this alone. It's very isolating to have a sick pet. And I just want to make sure that you are supported during this time. Having a senior pet can be very difficult. Holidays can be fraught with emotion, and a lot of them not good. And so, a lot of times we start feeling like, we're all by ourselves in this, and you don't have to be. We are here for you. So if that is it, I will let you all go back to your hurricane. Thank you, Susan, for sharing. We appreciate it. Going back to your hurricane evening, hopefully everybody's still got power and hasn't lost all the food in their fridge and freezers. We just did this 6 weeks ago, so nobody was real keen on going through another storm. But hopefully everybody's doing okay. And we'll be thinking about you. We hope you have a very pleasant and very happy holiday season, however you choose to spend that. But if you are having any trouble with your pets, reach out to us, to your vet, to friends and family. Please get some help and make sure that you're not sitting at home worrying about this all by yourself. There is support out there. Also, I just want to mention that we have, sorry, Frida's over here coughing. I just want to mention that we do have grief resources as well. And Cheyenne, we can probably link to where we've had those up before. But we do have grief resources. You can always text us and we'll send those to you right away. If you're struggling with anticipatory grief, which is, the grief that comes with knowing that your pet's not going to be with you much longer. If you're dealing with grief from a pet you've lost a while ago, if you're dealing with a loss that's just recent, there is support out there. Oh, Cheyenne, you're the best. So in the chat, in the comments are our grief resources. And just in case, we had an error with Alive and Wellness's phone number. So if it is still incorrect, the area code is 727 on that. They are local to Pinellas. So just in case our graphic is not updated, I just wanted to let you know that. All right, everybody have a safe and happy holiday season. If we can help you, give us a holler. Otherwise, we are going to come back whenever I can manage it. And we'll talk about other topics. So if you have something you want to hear about in our live show, please do send us an email. Again, text us, call us, whatever you want to do, and let us know what you think. You can also reply in the comments here or send us a message on Facebook or Instagram. We also are on Nextdoor now. So if you're interested in that, we would love to be one of your favorites. We're brand new there. So we would love to meet up with you there. All right, everybody, have a great night.